Hey, this is David with AppliancePartsPros.com. If your Electrolux electric dryer heats up but still takes forever to dry clothes, this video's for you. The most common cause, blocked or restricted venting. So we'll start right there. Then we'll walk through the other key things to check: thermistors, heating element, moisture sensor bars, and the control board. It's all stuff you can handle yourself. Hit that like button if this helps and subscribe for more do-it-yourself repair tips. Let's get started. With over 2 million products in stock and the know-how to help you do it yourself, we are AppliancePartsPros.com. For today's work, we'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, a multimeter, a flathead screwdriver, a 1/4-inch nut driver, a drill with a square drive bit, and a small 2x4. And also, please remember that safety comes first. Always disconnect your electric dryer by unplugging it or turning the breaker off. Whenever the subject of long dry times come up, most people automatically say, hey, I looked at my vent and it's okay. Nothing has changed since the day it was installed. Well, that may be true, but the most common issue when long dry times are investigated is poor air movement, whether it's from a restricted vent to a clogged blower housing. Cleaning out your vent is a cheap fix for a dryer taking too long to dry. Let's take a look at your vent. Unless you have a ventless dryer, you will have a vent coming out of the rear, side, or even the bottom of the cabinet. Attached to the dryer should be a rigid metal duct system that moves the air outside. We don't recommend the vinyl or foil venting material due to its ability to collect lint and its flammability. It is also recommended that you have some type of cover on the outside to keep critters from crawling up into the vent and building nests. I have pulled bird nests with eggs out of the back of the dryer vent. Now that we have the proper material for the vent, we want to have the shortest distance possible to get outside. And outside means outdoors, not under your house or into a crawl space, which is a fire hazard. Make sure the venting behind the dryer is not smashed or too long. Don't coil up 10 feet of the vent behind your dryer. Make it as short as possible. Your dryer may also creep back over time and smash the vent. Cut some 2x4s and put them behind the dryer cabinet to keep that from happening. Now that we've covered the outside venting, let's look internally at what could cause long dry times. Room air is drawn into the dryer cabinet through vents. The air is then pulled across the heating element and is drawn into the drum, where it causes the moisture inside the clothes to be released in the form of humidity. The humid air is drawn out of the dryer through the lint screen and into the blower housing, where it is then expelled out of the dryer vent to the outside. This is why when your dryer takes too long to dry, you notice that when you open the dryer door, the clothes are hot and damp. It is because the moisture in the drum is trapped and is not being removed from the drum. It has nowhere to go. Now that we have a good understanding of how good venting is important in the operation of your dryer, you can look at the venting in your house and determine why your dryer is taking too long to dry. Dual thermistor control is a heat management system that uses 2 thermistors to monitor both the incoming and outgoing air. The result? Clothes dry more evenly and faster. The inlet control thermistor is located on the blower housing. It is accessed by removing the back panel. The outlet thermistor is located on the front of the blower housing towards the bottom and reads the air leaving the drum. At room temperature, the inlet should measure about 50,000 ohms and the outlet should be around 5,000 ohms. We can check those readings right at the control board. Start by removing the 2 screws on the back panel and lifting off the lid. The main control board is on the right. Remove its 2 screws and shift it up so you can see the connectors more clearly. Set your multimeter to resistance. For the inlet thermistor, check pins J12-1 and J12-2. You should see about 50,000 ohms. For For the outlet, check J12-3 and J12-4. It should read around 5,000 ohms. If your readings are within 10%, they're good. If not, they'll need to be replaced. Continuing our checks at the control board, let's take a look at the 3 relays that send power to the heating elements. Extreme care should always be taken to protect against electric shock, which could potentially result in serious injury. Please do not test live voltage if you are uncomfortable using a multimeter around live voltage. With the power on and the dryer running and set to high heat, set your multimeter to volts AC. Start by checking from J51 to J52. If that relay is closed, you shouldn't see any voltage there. That's a good sign. It means the relay is passing power through. Next, check J53 to J71 and then J72 to J73. Same deal. If all 3 pairs read 0 volts, that tells us the relays are closed and the board sending voltage to the elements just like it should. If any of those checks show voltage instead, that means a relay isn't closing but is open, and that's your cue. The control board's defective and will need to be replaced. This Electrolux dryer runs with 3 heating elements and gives you 4 heat settings: low, medium high, and high. But if one or more of those elements go bad, you're not going to get proper high heat. You might still get some heat, but it'll feel more like one of the lower settings, and that means clothes take forever to dry. To know for sure, we need to test the elements directly. And to do that, we've got to get to them. Here's how we open it up. First, let's unplug the dryer. Up front, there's a screw on each side of the metal bracket holding the console in place. Take those out and set the whole console off to the side. Prop the dryer up with a 2x4. Tilt it back just enough to get underneath. Down at the very bottom, you'll find 2 screws. Get those out. Back up top again, pull the 2 screws from the upper corners of the front door panel. Gently swing the panel forward, unplug the door switch connector, and move the panel out of the way. Next, remove the 2 screws holding the control board plate to the front bulkhead. Then remove the last 2 screws holding the bulkhead. Lift the bulkhead straight up and off. Reach in and release the drum belt. Slide the drum out of there. On this model, the heating element's tucked over on the left side. You'll want to grab your multimeter and set it to measure resistance. I've pulled the heating element out to show you more clearly where to test at. Now take one probe and hold it on the L2 terminal. With the other probe, touch each of the heating element terminals one at a time. Each element should show a resistance of around 27 ohms. If any of them show an open circuit, that's your sign the element assembly is done for and needs to be replaced. Sensor bars are still a key part of how this dryer knows when to stop running when it's set to the auto dry cycle. While the electronic thermistors handle air and fabric temperature, the sensor bars keep track of moisture levels. Just like in other sensor dry models, the clothes tumble and brush up against the sensor bars mounted inside the drum wall. These bars detect how much moisture is left in the load and tell the control panel when the selected dryness level has been reached. On this model, the sensor bars are mounted on the rear bulkhead. So let's go straight to them and check things out. If you can crawl inside the drum and do this without disassembling it, go for it. This wide body can't. I'm going to tear it down and show you how to test the sensors. There's a screw holding the sensor bars in place. Go ahead and remove that. Then carefully slide the sensor bar assembly out of the mounting slot. Just watch those 2 wires, they're still connected and we don't want to yank them loose. Now grab your multimeter and set it to continuity. Touch each terminal with your probes and at the same time lay a metal screwdriver across the 2 sensor bars. You should get a continuity reading. This represents the wet clothes rubbing across the 2 sensors. Most sensor bars, like these, are pretty simple. Just 2 strips of metal. They usually don't need replacing unless you've damaged them. If the dryer's still acting weird, grab a rag with a little rubbing alcohol and wipe the bars clean. Dryer sheets and fabric softener love to leave behind a nice invisible layer of gunk that messes with the sensor readings. Clean bars mean better drying and fewer headaches. If the sensor bars tested okay, go ahead and slide the assembly back into place and screw it in. After testing the venting, moisture sensors, and the control board, we found the heating element was defective. Let me show you how we fixed it. It's not that difficult. Don't wander off now, we're just now getting to the fun part. Start by removing the 3 silver wires hooked to the heating elements. Then disconnect the red wire or pink wires from the high limit thermostats. Now look for the 3/8 nut on the L2 side of the heater. Back that off and remove the wires. There'll be 3 screws holding the heater assembly to the front bracket. Take those out, and if there's a screw in the back of the housing, remove that as well. Once that's done, pull the whole heater housing out. Here's the old heating element, and here's the new one. If you've already got one, great. If not, you can pick one up at appliancepartspros.com. Slide the heater housing back into place, lining it up with the mounting points. Secure it with the 3 front screws and the rear one if yours had it. Reconnect the L2 wire with a 3/8" nut. Then plug the red or pink wire back into the high limit thermostat. Finally, reattach the 3 silver wires to their heating element terminals. Now slide the drum back in, resting it on the rear rollers. Reach underneath, loop the belt around the motor pulley and idler, and make sure it's seated properly. This can be very difficult if you've never done it before. If you need to, go to the back panel and remove it. You'll have a better view of the pulley and the belt system. Lift the bulkhead back into position and set it down into the mounts. Reinstall the 2 top screws to secure it. Up top again, secure the control board plate back to the bulkhead with its 2 screws. Grab the front panel and reach down to plug the connector back in and swing it back into place. Run in the 2 screws at the top corners. Tilt the dryer back and using the 2x4s, reinstall those 2 bottom screws near the base. Then line up the console and reinstall its bracket screws. Reconnect the 2 console wires to the control board. Now drop the top panel into place by sliding it forward, then fasten it down with the 2 rear screws. Go ahead and get the power back on and start it up. It may smell a little odd, but that's normal, it's just new. Thanks for sticking with us through this troubleshooting guide on fixing long dry times with your Electrolux electric dryer. If you track down a faulty part during your inspection, head over to appliancepartspros.com. Just punch in your model number to find the exact replacement you need. Most parts show up in just a couple of days, so you'll be back to drying like normal in no time. And when your parts arrive, don't worry. We've got step-by-step install videos ready to walk you through it. Let us know in the comments how your repair went. We always like hearing your stories. And if this helped you out, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you next time.